Okay, have a look. Can you please read the classroom rules up for me today? I choose Cindy.
Richard's classroom rules. 1. Find a quiet place to work. 2. Be prepared. 3. Mute and video on. 4. Be on time. 5. Raise your hand. 6. Don't talk when others are talking. 7. Eat before or after Zoom. 8. Be respectful and kind.
Good girl, lovely work, Cindy. Okay, guys, have a look. So yesterday we had to complete 10 questions in our reading comprehension. Now, can everyone please go and get their comprehension homework and hold it up to the camera so I can see? Everyone go get your homework and hold it up to the camera so that I can see it clearly. Caroline, yes, do you have a question?
No.
No, okay. Hacker, do you have a question?
I do it in my iPad.
Okay, that's fine if you've done it online, no problem. All right, good job, guys. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm going to read the question and I want you to answer it. Number 1, what do sports engineers do once they identify a problem in a sport? What do they do when they have identified a problem in a sport? Okay, good job. Kwang Ming, what do you think the answer is here for this one?
I think the answer is B. They come up with a model that solves it.
Absolutely. Good job, Kwang Ming. So once sports engineers find a problem in a sport, they come up with a model that solves it. So they create something new to help test it out to see if that will do any better for that type of sports. We found that information on page 405. Number 2, what does the diagram in the more bounce to the ball section of the article show? Caroline, what answer did you get for that one?
I think it's the step is making a tennis ball.
Good girl, well done. The steps in making a tennis ball. So the diagram shows us very clearly and very easily how they make a tennis ball with lots of pictures. Good girl, we found this information on page 407. Okay, number 3, how were tennis rackets first made? How are they first made? Leo?
From wood.
Number 3, how were tennis rackets first made?
From wood.
Good job, well done. A, from wood. So we talked about this yesterday. When tennis rackets were first made, they were made out of wood, but we had to change it because it was very heavy and therefore the players got tired when they were swinging their racket. We found this information on page 406. Please make sure you are checking your work and correcting if you made any mistakes. Number 4, how does the author organize the ideas in the second paragraph of the section, more bounce to the ball? How does the author organize their work? Hannah, what did you get for this one?
I get by describing the steps to make a tennis ball in the order they happen.
Describing the steps, how tennis balls are made, and they use things called signal words to help us understand the order. Things like first, next, second, and last. Okay, turn over the page onto the next page. Number 5. Why was 1975? Why was 1975 an important year for the Boston Marathon? Why was that an important year? Let's go for Ocean.
Important because an athlete in a wheelchair complete the race for the first time.
Awesome. Well done, Ocean. 1975 was an important year because Bob Hall, the wheelchair athlete, competed in the race and completed it for the first time. So he did it faster than some of the runners in the race. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, number 6. According to the section, a history of running shoes, which is the correct order these were used? So you have to put these in the correct order. Which one has the correct answer? Mickey, what did you get for this one?
I think this is I.
Sandals, barefoot, running shoes with spikes, rubber sneakers. Not quite, Mickey. This is not the answer that I'm looking for. So before any runners ran with sandals, they actually ran with nothing on. The first runners ran barefoot. So I and F are definitely incorrect. So the first runners that ever ran did not wear. Caroline, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, what did you get for number 6? Caroline, I think you've muted yourself again. Can you unmute?
Yes. I choose 8.
H. Barefoot, sandals, running shoes with spikes, and rubber sneakers. Again, you're really close with this one, but 2 of these types of shoes need to be switched round. So barefoot is correct, sandals is correct, but running shoes with spikes is not correct. We had something before that. Kwang Ming, what did you get for number 6?
I think it is G. Barefoot, sandals, rubber sneakers, running shoes with spikes.
Good job, well done. So the answer here is G. The first runners that ever ran did not have anything on their feet. They ran barefoot. Then they wore sandals, and they started to notice that the runners with sandals were running better than those with barefoot. Then eventually rubber sneakers were introduced for extra comfort. And then finally, after that, running shoes with spikes were introduced. So this is the correct order in which we learn about the history of running shoes. We found this information on page 410. Number 7, how are long jumper shoes different from other runners' shoes? Sal, what did you get for that one?
B. They have spikes in the front only.
Good job, Sal. Well done. Long jumper shoes have spikes in the top half and front of their shoe only. We found that information on page 411. Number 8, what change in the soles of running shoes was made in 1972? Cleats were added, rubber was used, spikes were added, or cushioning was added. What did you get for that one, Tweed Chi? So Tweety, your camera's off. I don't know if you're there. Okay, good. What did you get for that answer, Tweety?
Spikes were added.
Not quite. So spikes were added in the 1920s. 1920s. So spikes were added before then. Tweety, you're turning your camera off. So you need to make sure your camera is switched on. Otherwise, you have to go into the waiting room. Okay. Who thinks they know the answer to this one? How about Emma? What did you get for number 8?
Number 8 is I.
Can you read it out? Cushioning. Okay, I'll read it for you. Cushioning was added. So cushioning was added to the soles of the shoes in 1972 to make them extra comfortable. Okay, last 2 pages. Have a look. Number 9. What was the last thing added to football helmets? Kwang Ming, what do you think?
I think it is D, a computer chip.
Good boy, well done. It is D. A computer chip was the last thing added to the helmets in football. So yesterday we had a little chat about that. We explained that a computer chip can help the players reduce their risk of serious injury, especially on their brain. Good job, Kwang Ming. We found that information on page 412. And finally, question 10. What are special safety features in skiers' clothing used for? Hacker, what did you get for that one?
What a safety feature
Sorry, Hacker, it's really hard to hear you. Can you please speak up?
What are special safety feature in skier clothing for?
Yeah, and what answer did you get for this one?
I think it is I.
I, to help skiers change direction while skiing. So in our book, there is no information that they get safety features or clothing to help them change direction. Our book doesn't tell us anything about them changing direction. So that's not the answer I'm looking for here. Ocean, can you tell me?
This hedge use sticker clothing grow in the dark.
Again, so that's in the same paragraph, but they actually talk about reflective clothing for the bicyclists. So people who cycle on a bike late at night. So skiers' clothing don't glow in the dark. They're not reflected, as people are not allowed to ski at nighttime. You can only ski during the day or when the sun is just setting. So not quite that. I'm going to lower all hands. Who thinks they know the answer for number 10? What did you read about the special safety features in skiers' clothing and how do they help skiers? Okay, Leo, go ahead with this one.
G, to help find the ski location.
Good job, Leo. Well done. The answer I'm looking for here is G. They have a special safety feature to help find the skier's location in case they get lost or they go off-piste. The page number for this is 413. It's cut out here on the side. So this is page number 413. All right, awesome work, guys. Please make sure that you have corrected any mistakes that you made. And please make sure you gave yourself a tick for anything you got right. All right, let's begin our lesson today. Today we're focusing on sequence of events. Can you please read this page for me? Cindy.
Sequence of
events. Events in a story happen in order. First, next, then, and last of beginning, middle, and end word might be used to tell the event in order.
Good girl. Thanks for reading, Cindy. So in Technology Wins the Race, there are lots and lots and lots of paragraphs with lots of information. The information tells us how sports engineers improve a certain sport. Often these paragraphs are written in the correct sequence of events. We can pick out signal words in these paragraphs to help us understand the order in which these events happen. Have a look at some signal words over here. This is telling us how to make a cup of tea. First, we boil. Then put the tea bag in the water. After, add some sugar and milk. Finally, add a biscuit and enjoy it. As you can see, these words are our signal words. They indicate or give you a signal to show which steps happen in which order. Today we're going to have a look back at Technology Wins the Race, and we're going to answer some sequence of events questions. Have a look here. Sequence of events, page 405. How does an engineer improve a sport? We're going to reread this page. We're going to use this flow chart to help us. Then we're going to create our own flow chart and add in the steps of how a sports engineer improves a sports. Let's have a look. Who will read this first paragraph for me? I choose, let's see. Okay, Kwang Ming, you keep raising your hand all day today. Good job. Okay, Kwang Ming, can you read the first paragraph for me?
Some sports engineers study the way athletes move when they play different sports. An engineer might watch a soccer player to see how the player's foot strikes the ball. This can lead to ideas about soccer shoes, the soccer ball, or even the soccer field. Engineers use these ideas to improve the game in some way.
Lovely reading. Thank you so much, Kwang Ming. And can you take over, please? Okay, Sao, go ahead. The first step.
The first step for a sports engineer is to identify a problem in a sport, something to be improved. Almost everything can be improved. Then the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution. Next, he or she creates a model. The model may include a new kind of material. The new idea is then tested in a laboratory to see how well it works. Finally, the new project is tested by athletes. Tested by athletes. If it works well, soon athletes all around the world will start to use it.
Good job. Thank you so much, Sao. Okay, guys, and have a look at this flow chart. Problem, idea for solution, create model, and test. Now, my question is, how does an engineer improve a sport? The answers can be found on this page. Who thinks they can find that will help us understand the sequence of events and will help us understand how to answer this question? I'm going to lower all of your hands. Click the raise your hand button if you think you can go through this paragraph and underline and identify some signal words. Okay, Hannah, are you able to draw on my screen, Hannah?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and take a pen and underline some signal words that you see. Signal words that might tell us the sequence of events of how an engineer improves a sport? Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Well done. Lovely work. Now there's one more. Yeah, amazing. Lovely work, Hannah. So Hannah has gone through and quickly identified the signal words. First and step, then, next, and finally. So now that Hannah has underlined this, it's going to be easier for us to add to our flow chart. Who can tell me, what is the first thing an engineer does to improve a sport? What is the first thing they must do? Hannah has really helped us by underlining some of the signal words. So who can tell me, what's the first thing a sports engineer must do to improve a sport? So far, I've got Sal and Hannah with their hands raised. So good job, guys. But I'm waiting to see some other students participating. Okay, good. Now I've got Hannah and Ocean and Caroline and Sal. That's still, and Kwang Ming. Still only 5 students. Okay, good. Mickey, what's the first thing a sports engineer does to improve a sport?
I think the first step is the sport engineer need to identify in the sport.
Good girl. The first thing they must do is find a problem. So they must identify the problem first. That's the first step they must do. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into my graphic organizer. Have a look. I'm going to write first, sports engineers identify a problem in a sport. So I'm adding it to my own flow chart. Great. Now, what's the next thing that they must do? After they identify a problem, what is the next thing sports engineers do? What do we think? So again, I've still got the same students. I've got Sal, Hannah, Caroline, Ocean, Mickey, and Kwang Ming. Really good job, guys. But I want to see all hands raised. The answer is on the screen. All you have to do is look for it and find it. I want to see all hands raised. What do you think, Caroline? What's the next step?
I think the sport engineer needs to come up with a solution.
Good girl. After they identify a problem, they will sit down together and think about a solution or how they can fix the problem. Good work, Caroline. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my graphic organizer. So I've added, then sports engineers come up with ideas for solutions. Perfect. Okay, after they come up with an idea for a solution, what do? What's the next step? Ocean. Ocean, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Ocean. So after they come up with an idea for a solution, what do they do next?
They create model.
Good job, Ocean. Well done. They create a model. So they create a model. That means after they've come up with an idea to solve the problem, they decide to create a model. So let's say they've made or created an idea that they want to make a new shoe with extra cushioning and spikes. What they'll do is they'll test it in the laboratory to see if it works. So go ahead and add that to the graphic organizer. So next, they create a model of the solution. Okay. After they create a model for the solution, what do sports engineers do? Sal.
Finally, the new project is tested by athletes.
Who tests it before the athletes test it?
They test it in a laboratory.
Good boy, well done. So after that, the scientists, they test it in the laboratory. So after that, they test the model in a laboratory. And then, like Sal said, finally, sports engineers have athletes test the new product. So after the scientists and the sports engineers are happy with the testing in the lab and they think it's safe to use, they will give it to some athletes to test. Amazing. Well done, guys. Okay, let's do one more sequence of events and then we have a game to play. So our next sequence of events is how are tennis balls made? So let's go ahead and look at page 407. Here we have it. This page is all about how tennis balls are made. Leo, please read the first paragraph for me.
Tennis balls have come a long way too. The first tennis balls were made of leather or cloth stuffed with wool or horsehair. These balls did not bounce very high. In the
1870s.
1870s, rubber was first used to make tennis balls. These balls bounce better, but the clothes that cover the ball would fall off.
Good job. Thank you, Leo. And can you please take over from reading Ming Ha? Today,
tennis balls are still made of rubber. First, two matching half-shell pieces of rubber are joined together. This makes the hollow round shape of the ball. Second, two pieces of felt are wrapped around the ball. Third, a rubber seam is added to keep a felt covered together. Finally, the balls are put in a can that
is under pressure.
is under pressure. This helps keep them bouncing. The whole process that each tennis ball bounces exactly the same way. Where the ball bounces is up to the player.
Good girl. Thanks for reading, Ming Ha. Okay, so we're learning about how tennis balls are made. Have a look here. Our question is, how are tennis balls made? And this question is asking, how are tennis balls made today? So we can find all of that information in this second paragraph. Now, I want someone to help me do what Hannah did with the last paragraph. Who thinks that they can draw on my screen and find all the signal words that will help us understand the sequence of events? I had a girl last time, so I'm going to choose a boy. Sal, are you able to draw on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, please underline the signal words that you can find in the second paragraph to help us understand the sequence of how tennis balls are made. Maybe you want to make your pen a little bit thinner because the writing is quite small. So make it nice and thin like mine. Good job. We've got first, second, third, finally. Awesome work, Sal. Well done. Here we have our signal words first, second, third, and finally. Now, let's go ahead and add some sentences to our graphic organizer. How are that? If you don't want to read this, you can also use this diagram of pictures to help you explain what happens first, second, third, and finally. Okay, so I've got the same students raising their hands. So I'm going to lower all hands and see if I can get other students up, raising up their hands. What is the first thing we must do to make a tennis ball today? So far, I've got one hand up. I've got Caroline's hand up. The more students that participate means the quicker our graphic organizer filled out, and it means that we'll be able to play the game. When only one student is raising their hand, it shows that I'm not sure if everyone is following along or paying attention. So it's important that we all participate in class. Okay, Caroline, go ahead. What's the first thing we do to create tennis balls? Caroline, are you?
First thing we need to do is we need to match two of the half cell piece of rubber.
Sorry about that, guys. There was a problem with my internet, but it is back on track now. So let's get back to the question. Caroline, can you please tell me what the first thing is we must do to create a tennis ball?
We must match two half of the pieces of rubber.
Good girl, well done. We get two half shell pieces of rubber and we join them together. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my graphic organizer, just like Caroline said. First, two matching pieces of rubber are joined together. Awesome work, Caroline. Okay, what comes after this step? Let me underline all of our signal words again to help us. Okay, what comes after this step? What's the next step in creating a tennis ball? Kwang Ming, go ahead. After we put the two half shell pieces of rubber together, what is the next step?
We put the two pieces of felt or wrap around the ball.
Good job. We get two pieces of felt and we wrap it around the ball. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my graphic organizer. Second, two pieces of felt are wrapped around the ball. Great. Now, what happens after we have wrapped the felt around the ball? You can use the picture and the diagram to help you. What happens after that? Cindy, what do you think?
These weapons better us, and after it, they change the tennis to be used more good.
So what happens after? What happens after they wrap the felt around the ball? Okay, so Cindy, you've muted yourself, but I'm not sure which question you were answering there, Cindy. Hacker, can you tell me what happens after this step?
I think the ball put under the pressure.
The ball's put under the pressure? No, not quite. We still have something to do before the balls are put under pressure. Nikki, what do you think?
I think the third step is rubber steam is added to keep the flat cover together.
Good girl, well done. This white rubber seam is added and stitched on to make sure the felt stays together. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So third, a rubber seam is attached to keep the felt cover together. Awesome work. Okay, now what's the last step in making a tennis ball? What is the last event in this sequence of events of making a tennis ball? What's the final thing that must be done? Leo? Not sure, Leo? Okay, who can help Leo? Who can help Leo? So it's on the board, it's underlined. There are lots of clues to help you get it. Who can answer this question for me? Okay, go ahead. So I just want to say, Nikki, Caroline, Hannah, Sao, and Kwang Ming, really good job today. Your hands have always been up for every single answer. So good job, you guys. You will definitely be getting extra points for participating well today. Go ahead, Hannah, you can answer this one for me.
Finally, the balls are put in a can that is under pressure.
Good girl, well done. And why do they get put in this can that's under pressure, Hannah?
It is because it keeps them bouncy.
Good girl, well done. So I'm going to go ahead and add that information into my graphic organizer. The fourth and final thing that we must do to make a tennis ball is we add them into a pressurized can to keep the balls bouncy. Good job, well done, guys. All right, so that brings us to the end of our lesson. We only have 2 minutes left, so we don't have enough time for the game today. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you your homework. So your homework is as follows. You have a long kind of story to read about baby kangaroos, which are called joeys. So you've got some sequencing worksheets to complete. Have a look. Sequencing is putting things in order from first to last. So you read this story, paying attention to the sequence of events from first to last. So you'll read this story, and then what you'll have to do is you'll have to answer questions based on this story that look like this. You write the numbers 1 through 6 in the boxes beside the events to show the sequence of what happened from first to last, and then you write 2 other things that might come next in the story. Do I have any questions about your homework, or do I have any questions about sequence of events? Let me lower all hands. Click the raise your hand button if you have any questions. Great. So if you have a printer at home, as always, you can print it out, or if not, you can simply write it down on a notebook somewhere. Sao, do you have a question?
Yes. Where do we read this story?
So Miss Lan will send you this worksheet after class. Okay, so Miss Lan will send you this worksheet after class, and you can either print it out, or if you don't have a printer at home, no problem, you can simply write your answers down on a notebook. Okay, so since there are no more questions, I'm going to stop the class there. All right, guys, make sure you upload your homework by what time?
9
9
p.m.
p.m.
Great, 9 p.m. Okay, guys, really good job. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.